Why does the black man serve the white man? Why does everything the black man do benefit the white man? Why does the black man say freedom is doing what I want to do? And why is it that everything he wants to do enriches the European?
Welcome to the desert of the real.
Mr. Holism, you there?
Peace.
Peace. How you doing, brother?
What's up, brother?
How you doing? What would you like to add to this?
Man, where do I start? First, and I'll keep making this point because it seems like this point keeps getting resurrected over and over again. Black is not ambiguous. Who black people are is no ambiguity. The only time it becomes an ambiguity is when we start talking about power. When we start talking about who we're going to oppress, who we're going to keep out of the power structures in the system, everybody knows with pinpoint accuracy who black folks is. So I'm not even going to engage in that conversation. That's not ambiguous. We know exactly who black people are. I prefer African, because that attaches me to culture. I have no problem with black, and I usually use black in conjunction with African. But everybody keeps talking about what is this and what's culture and what is black people and what we should do. I mean, it's really relatively simple to me. I mean, like all of this self-help stuff is stuff that you usually need when you have no nation. There's a lot of self-help gurus out there selling a lot of books and telling people what they can do individually because those people are working and operating within the context of no nation, no power, no socio-economic and political power. And I'm dying to know how black folks are going to become comfortable with no skills and no jobs. Where are you getting your jobs from? Do you have a place? Are your people generating the jobs that you're working for, or are you getting jobs through somebody else?
Have a good day.
And another thing is, white folks don't even have jobs for their own people. We're being cut out of the labor market by the Mexicans, and that's something that we're going to have to address very soon. So this whole thing about this rugged individualism thing, I don't have a problem with individualism per se, but I'll just use this as an example. There was a man in New York who, by his rugged individualism, managed to become mayor of New York City. And that same man couldn't catch a cab in his own city. You feel me? Because you are not judged by just you personally. You are judged by the group in which you come from. So all of these niggas can get as much money as they want to, but you're going to be associated with a powerless people. So when you're in the midst of other rich people and other wealthy people, you're going to be the low person on the totem pole. See, because the people in power know who we are. They don't have no confusion. There's no ambiguity. There's no, what is black? That discussion doesn't even come up. We are just sitting here having this stupid-ass conversation as far as I'm concerned. We know who black folks are. So then what we have to do, first of all, is eliminate that confusion. And we have to find common ground amongst all of us. And I believe that the common ground is that we all don't have socioeconomic and political power. We all do not control the context in which we live in. We all don't have any land. We also don't control any infrastructure. Now, individually, being in America, individually, if you don't want to work with your own, you can have a quite successful life. You can make a lot of money. If that's what the goal is, then you can definitely do that. But what I find interesting is that why do people who want to do that get involved in group-oriented discussions? Why do you get involved in black nationalism and Pan-Africanism and want to jump in and interject when you're an individualist? If you got your money and you got your shit straightened out, you should be okay.
Before is a guilty conscience, maybe?
I noticed that, I don't know if Carla's online. I see him in the chat room. But I swear to you, when I had my show and Carla when he's on and when Chef is on their show, we have so many people who swear that they don't have no interest in nationalism, no interest in Pan-Africanism, always showing up in our forums. But we never show up in theirs. You notice that, Chef?
that's
you notice
right
that?
There,
I know Colin notices it. Every single time, it's like, what's that dude, Sarge, and the rest of these clowns. All of a sudden, they got so much time and their busy schedule of making money and being successful that they can tune in for 2 hours and listen to what we got to say. So, you know.
I mean, you said a mouthful right there, man, because I never heard a discussion where we were talking about black issues and somebody called in and said, what is black?
It only comes to that discussion, like that question you will always hear popping up when we start talking about power. If we're talking about oppression, everybody know who black folks is. The moment we start talking about having some power, getting some land, getting some infrastructure, start talking nationhood, now all of a sudden, well, what is black? We get into this philosophical shit. Well, what is black? Come on, man.
Right. Yeah, if you don't know, this might not be the right conversation for you.
This is stuff we've been dealing with for a long time, man. We're going to always have people jumping in to the conversation of nationhood and infrastructure and the land and all this other stuff and all this these are collective issues that we're discussing. We're talking about the empowerment of our groups. Now, there is something to be said for the empowerment of the individual, and you can't go out there. One thing that brother did say that is definitely true. If you consider yourself just an individual detached from culture, you can go out there and make all the money you can because you don't have no allegiance to nobody or whatever. Now, there are going to be times when you get lumped in with the people that you come from that you're going to have to deal with, and usually that's what most rich Negroes have to deal with. Like they come home and they feel like they got their feelings hurt because they got treated like a nigger one day. I mean, that's just what I call collateral damage. That's like cultural residue. That stuff happens, but you can have a successful life. You can make your money, but my thing is, if you're doing that, do you? But don't come in trying to shift us away from what we're trying to do. We're concerned about the collective. We're concerned about our young babies coming up out of the womb. What context are they going to have to live in and exist in collectively? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we know what you're saying.
So if that's the case, let us do us and you do you. And everything is fine. I ain't got no issues or problem with nobody and whatever they decide to personally do. But I'm worried about the babies, and I'm worried about my people. I'm worried about these our elders, and the generation that's coming behind me.
Yeah,
unfortunately, they can't inherit your job.